This is Radar for On the Radar Entertainment Blog, coming to another edition of Movie Reviews and Observation, number 26. Now, with the Jewish holiday importance of Yom Kippur on Sunday, there wasn't that much time, so I decided to watch this very short movie that said it was an hour and 20-something minutes, hour 27 minutes, Gretel and Hansel. Instead of Hansel and Gretel, it's that old fairy tale where they go into the woods, and a witch is trying to eat them and cook them up. Now, this thing was slowly moving, and there was like some unneeded scenes, and I didn't have a lot of time, so I skipped a couple scenes. I admit that, but it didn't really do anything to make the movie go quicker, make it more interesting. It was definitely a horror film, in that the fact it was really creepy, but it was like she was working for somebody, and she's like, "You can't live there," blah 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 blah, and it just slowly moved for a short movie. Weird, confusing, can't understand anything that's going on in the movie, and you're just like, well, keep it going. In the movie, I skipped a couple, I hit the skip button a couple times, and then eventually you're just like, okay, where's this movie going? And then it just ends abruptly, and you're just like, okay, never mind. So yeah, don't even waste your time, even though it's a short film with an idea that you heard of. It's just, I don't know why they made this movie. It was just, made no sense. Now, I then I wanted to watch a movie after the Jewish important holiday Yom Kippur, but of course, not enough time. But the next movie I'm going to tell you is I watched a movie called The Turning. It was, I don't know, it takes place in the 70s or the 80s, whatever it is. She's a teacher, but then she gets the job to be a live-at-home-like teacher, taking care of this girl, even though this family's rich. They got a creepy-looking house. The parents died mysteriously. All the previous teachers or tutors or people that lived there died mysteriously or disappeared, never came back, tell anybody. The girl herself, the little girl's not creepy or anything. And then the boy, though, is weird because he's supposed to be at his private school. Then he comes home and creeps out the main character. It's just confusing. Then they add the girl's mother's has a mental problem, so she's in a mental hospital, and it's just, why is that old lady there taking care of them if she's not related to them? Why is she not worrying about things? And then, despite being in one of those 90-minute range of a movie, it was also slowly moving. Definitely scary because there's a lot of creepy things going on in the house. But then it's confusing if she got out of the house with the kid, she didn't, yada, 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 and then just ends. So it's like, don't waste your time on Gretel, Hansel, or The Turning, because they're really bad. Now, it says there's an alternative ending, but, like, it wasn't that great of a movie that I'm going to go out of my way and watch it. Then, I watched this really long movie called The Nightingale that was about 2 hours and, like, 15 to 16 minutes. And it takes place in Australia. It's come from a critically acclaimed writer-director, blah, 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 blah. It's a woman who's living in, like, Australia, even though she's Irish, because she's committed a crime, and she's under this person's, like, ownership, and she's got to, like, continue to be there. The guy won't let her go. The guy rapes her, and again, this movie has, like, so much rape. It's like, it's not a rated X movie. It's a rated R movie, but I don't want to see the guy who's in charge of her rape her, his men rape her, the men rape other women in this movie, killing babies, just straight up just killing random people and this stuff. And it's just like, okay, where's this movie going? Okay, it's going to be a revenge story. There are blacks that are there in Australia, whatever, how it is. They want revenge. It was just like, obviously you want her to get her revenge and kill the guy and blah, 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 blah. But it's like, you could have made this movie an hour and 40, 50 minutes and got more straight to the point that it's like a revenge type of movie than anything else. But yeah, crappy movie. Don't want to be in a movie where I see tons of rape scenes and killing children. It's just like, yeah. I don't care if this, like, takes place in the past and they're trying to draw, inspiration from them. Don't watch The Nightingale. Really dumb, waste of time of a movie. Then I watched the movie Sonic the Hedgehog, and as a kid who played the video games and watched all the cartoons, I was very excited that they finally made the movie. And Jim Carrey's a weirdo creep guy who likes to play weird guy. So it was perfect for him to play the weird bad guy, Dr. Robotnik, who looks like an egg. Now, James Marsden, you all know him from being an X-Man, a Cyclops. Of course, he's playing the local cop, sheriff of the small little town in the middle of nowhere, Montana, where it's like he does everything that he's not a cop, and he's tired of where he's living. I like the origin story of where Sonic came from, how long he's been here, what the rings do, and how, he's just trying to survive. And, of course, the government, they had, like, Gary Chalk and Damien Dark playing military people. So at least I know Damien Dark from Arrow, the actor who plays them, and I've seen, Gary Chalk on Stargate and all these other shows where, they're like, what do we do? We got this weird alien that caused a blackout. What are we going to do? And they send this weirdly crazy person out, Robotnik, and of course, when he finds out who Sonic is and the power he has, of course, he's after because that's all he is. Tika Sumpter plays like the guy's wife, James Marsden's wife. I've seen her in plenty of movies, so I'm familiar with her. Adam Pally, one of my favorite actors, he's playing the other sheriff that always needs, Marsden to help him. And then Ben Schwartz voices the Sonic the Hedgehog. So I'm become really used to having Jaleel White voice him from most of the cartoons. But it was nice that Ben Schwartz sounded like a child with his voice. That was pretty good. It was 90-something minutes, not that long. They're going to make a second, probably, and a third one where they introduce more characters. But yeah, it's not inappropriate, so all ages children can watch it. There's jokes in there, good cast, good acting. Sonic looks like Sonic. He's like a child. Like, he's never experienced a lot of these things. So that was probably the best movie I watched all week was Sonic the Hedgehog. Waited for a long time to watch it. Then I watched the movie Zombies 2. And the first movie, Zombies, is a TV Disney movie where something happened and some people turn to zombies and they have to be separated from the rest of the people who live in their own part of town. Then this is like the first class of zombies who get to go to high school with the regular people. And Meg Dolly from American Housewife, I liked her from American Housewife. She's the oldest daughter, Meg Donnelly, and she wants to be a cheerleader. Her cousin is in charge of the cheerleading team. That's how she's on there. She has weird hairs, and she wears a wig in the first one, so she wants people to know. But of course, the whole movie is about accepting that zombies are cool. Like the tall bud of the main character that Milo plays. Milo. Milo Manheim. He has a friend who doesn't really speak. He's people like him. Then he got his black friend who's a zombie, and she is all about bringing down tyranny, and she's fighting for change. All these other things, like she's an anti-establishment person, and she's good at tech. So a lot of these zombies, they realize, wow, they're good people. Maybe we should be with them if they got the watch on them. It was a good message about accepting the zombie. Then they said, like High School Musical, we're gonna make 3 teen Disney movies where they're singing and they're dancing and they're narrating their life stories so you know what's going on. And of course, it's not going to take place years later. It takes place like the next semester because the first semester was during the football season. This was during the non-football season. So they said, let's add werewolves who supposedly don't like the humans because the humans did something to the werewolf a long time ago and they want something that the humans have. And then again, Meg character goes, you know what? We got to be accepting of everybody no matter what. And of course, then they realized that the werewolves just want to live in peace, things like that. And it's also about accepting people, even if they're different. So, Zombies, first movie, Werewolf, second, and it's at an hour and 20-something minutes, singing, dancing, age appropriate. It's like a teenage drama thing. But again, good movie, pretty good movie. It was probably the third best movie I watched this week. And, not bad of a movie to sit through and watch. The only thing I never get in the movie is her cousin, who's the head cheerleader, dresses really like weirdly, talks, and acts weirdly, but he wants to be class president and popular. I'm not saying that he has to be gay, but they're purposely making him like stereotypical gay, which I thought in 2020 they don't try to make people stereotypical gay, but that's the only critique. Then the second best movie to watch was Scoob. Supposedly they said let's tell a story from the beginning. So you have to get over the new animation. Some people are not happy that the person who's been voicing Shaggy in these movies, who was in the live action movie, is not in this movie. But Will Forte, in my opinion, he does a very good job of voicing Scooby-Doo. Zac Efron, he plays Fred. Gina Rodriguez plays Velma, and Amanda Seyfried plays Daphne. So it wasn't that bad. Now, they want you to believe that even though they didn't introduce like a Scooby-Doo movie where it would have been nice to see when they were kids doing it, and then they're adults, they just transform from a couple scenes of the kid to when they're adult. And then they want you to believe that all these other characters in the Hanna-Barbera universe exist. Now, if you're somebody who grew up then, you watch Hanna-Barbera in the 60s, 70s, and even 80s. If you're a kid like me, grew up in the 90s, you saw all the reruns, all the Hanna-Barbera shows when you were a kid on TV, and you watched them on VHS, whatnot. And you're familiar with these characters. And then at the same time, the Hanna-Barbera's children or grandchildren made a bunch of shows on Cartoon Network like Dexter's Lab and whatnot, and Johnny Bravo, and it was said Hanna-Barbera on the back. So then, you're supposed to, but so the thing is, they make some sort of story where Dick Dastardly from Wacky Races, Blue Falcon, but not really Blue Falcon, Dino Mutt, and the person that helps them as well, and they introduce Captain Caveman, let's add Hanna-Barbera characters to the plot of why Scooby-Doo is important, why they need to solve this one, mystery of why Scooby's important, why Scooby was taking all these things. So it's a movie about friendship and trying to figure out, another chapter. The only thing I don't like is that it's very similar to the movie Return to Zombie Island, which was a crappy movie that they should never have made, where they're in a cafe diner saying, what should we do next? We need some real money in order to help Mystery Inc. to fix up the car. The car gets destroyed, yada, yada, yada. And then in that one, they go on a vacation and realize it's not a vacation. This one, they have a whole other mystery to solve. But it's like they stole the exact same idea of what that happened in that movie that came out last year compared to this one. That's the only critique. And the Hanna-Barbera, like introducing. You could have made a Scooby-Doo movie, then made a Hanna-Barbera movie with the Blue Falcon, blah, 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 and then have crossovers and then eventually introduce them together. But you have to accept that they're a superhero in the same world as Scooby-Doo because all the Hanna-Barbera. Now, if they make another movie of Scooby-Doo, that'd be cool. If they make another movie where they take Hanna-Barbera characters and they work with Blue Falcon, that's pretty good. It was nice to have Ken Jeong and Mark Wahlberg in the movie. Jason Isaacs, those are pretty good voice actors as well. Frank Welker, the original voice of Fred, is Scooby. Tracy Morgan's Captain Caveman. It was pretty good. It was an hour and a half. Very age-appropriate movie. Kids will laugh. Scooby-Doo fanatics will want to watch it because they want to see every type of Scooby-Doo movie. But overall, it's obviously not going to be as good as the original cartoon show, all the movies, everything else. But it's a nice addition to the Scooby-Doo World edition of movies to watch. So it's just to watch it. Okay, and the last movie I watched was called Playmobil the Movie. It's based off that, children's toy. And the reason why I'm saying the Sonic the Hedgehog, Scooby-Doo, and Zombies Are Three Best is because they actually really were. Now, this is another movie that kids can watch because they played the thing. And it was a movie about a brother and a sister having to survive because their parents tragically died. So they threw that element into it. But at the same time, it's same like Lego, where it's got the live action parts of the family, but then it's actually what's happening in the Playmobil world. The twist is they get sucked into Playmobil world, unlike in Lego, where it's just the Lego world. And they got, Jim Gaffigan. They got Kenan Thompson. They got singers Adam Lambert and Meghan Trainor in the movie. Daniel Radcliffe's in the movie. So making it okay, singing and dancing and pretty good voice actors. And they basically said, let's take all the worlds of Playmobil and let's add them all into one world and universe, and you're in there and you got to survive. So you know what? It wasn't bad. It's, an hour and 30-something minutes. Overall, you can watch it. It's not a big deal. It's just obviously not going to be as good as watching Sonic the Hedgehog, Scooby-Doo, Scoob, or the Zombies 1 or 2. But you know what? It's another children's movie. Not that long. There's laughs. There's good voice acting. You'll enjoy it. So, yeah. Watch Sonic the Hedgehog, #1. Watch Scoob. And watch Zombies 2. And you can watch Playmobil the movie because it's a kid's movie with laughs and it's fun. Don't waste your time with Nightingale. It's too long and I don't know why they made it. The turning was weird and creepy and didn't make sense. And Gretel Henzo was weird, creepy, and didn't make any sense. And just wasn't worth your time, even if they're short. Thanks for listening to another edition of Movie Reviews and Observations, number 26. For On the Radar and Tay Blog, I'm Radar. See you guys next time.